Mike Gill and Crash.
Hello, Mike.
We're at it again. I'm telling you, each week it gets more interesting. We get closer and closer each week.
I think it gets more crazy each week.
Well, you know what? Listen, everything that we've posted, all these podcasts, we've been right. Not right when it's happening, right before it happens, right telling you what's going to happen. Listen, if you can see the future, you can maneuver. It's how I became a wealthy man in business. I was able to turn around and make moves before it happened to put us in position. And so let me tell you what I see. Ready? Last podcast, we gave you Medicaid and Medicare. Well, guess what? That is blowing up. Did you see the wild ride on Bitcoin? They call it pump and dump, right? Listen, I caught two Ponzi schemes. That's how I got into this situation with FRM and so forth. What you're going to see is the crash in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money laundering. That's the nature of it. Does anybody remember FTX? FTX was licensed and incorporated in the state of New Hampshire. Their biggest donation was Senator Hassan of New Hampshire. Now, when they got bagged, their four top billionaires, investors, all got murdered in 30 days, all connected to drug cartels. Now, next week, we're going to tag a conversation had with AI where it doesn't look like it could happen, and we have them up to 90%. But we'll save that one for you. Maybe we'll link it to this podcast at the end. So Bitcoin's tanking because of Medicaid and Medicare. You're going to see that all. We're going to spell it out a little bit more. But that's the mystery. That blows all that was instituting Medicaid and Medicare, all those programs get exposed. The people behind it gets exposed. You'll see a little bump in Bitcoin. That's them pumping Bitcoin saying, hey, things are going to buy on the dip, as they sell and get their money out, maximize what they're going to pull out of this. But it's a symptom of what we're saying here and what we're showing you. It is last week's podcast before Bitcoin took a tank. So, and again, ahead of time. Now, I want you all to understand this, and this is very important. I want to get them all. I've heard, well, he's trying to get Trump off with entrapment. And when you see we're going to go over again that Arizona meeting because it is extremely active. Entrapment doesn't mean you're innocent. It exposes you to the guilt. You get off legally. The target we need and want, and the essence of what this podcast is, and trying to have you understand. Listen, if you don't know the enemy, you don't know the target, you can't win the game. The DOJ, who's blocking the Epstein files for all these years if it's not the Department of Justice? They are the heart of the beast. They send the CIA, they send the Mossad, they send the FBI, and we'll show you that too. What are we saying? CIA, turn Gill or kill Gill. No, kill Gill's been on the table a few times with a few attempts. So we're not talking out of school, and I'm going to show you exactly that. But understand the domino. That Arizona meeting, together with the communications with Flynn from Trump's Oval Office on December 18, 20, was the start of that insurrection plot. They needed to block me for a reason. We're going to step through that. That Arizona meeting, by the way, was one hell of a move. If history's made here, the Rembrandt that was painted was me getting into that brokered convention meeting and setting it up, where we get Flynn front to back with the convention and the confessions because they all thought I was working that Trump sent me. Listen, there's a genius in this operation, and it ain't Trump. So It was Department of Justice. Flynn worked for him. Flynn worked for this. I mean, for the Department of Justice. Flynn worked for them. It was their operation. O'Keefe. We're gonna talk about O'Keefe again. Remember how O'Keefe came to me first? We're gonna find that. You get the Department of Justice, everything else falls. The Epstein files open. The Pandora box opens, where you find out who stole your 38.5 trillion. You're going to find out the dirty bastard CIAs that have been messing with your mind, that have been controlling these influencers and podcasters. That's all of them. If you leave the cancer in, it grows back. You can't just get one, you got to get them all. And if there is one plan, if there is one possible way for you to be accomplish this, it's here and now in what I'm going to tell you. And I'm not guessing. Do I get a break? 21 years of being right, telling you what was going to happen, piece at a time. Each and every week, I'm telling you what happens before it happens. I mean,
Yeah.
my God. I mean, what are you going to do? All right. So let's go on the path. Let's tell you a story. And each and every time is evidence. And I'm going to ask you to use your brain. Logical. These people fucked with your skulls. And you can find with the body snatchers and the vrills. I didn't even know what a vril was. I had to look it up.
You don't want to know.
I did look it up. It's more crazy fucking shit. Okay, hit it. Let's take a ride. Now, again, we remind you of last week. Remind you of Medicaid and Medicare. You're going to find out that is what's behind the drop in Bitcoin. That money they stole from you all has to be laundered. You're going to find out that the cartels and dark money and politicians were behind this fraud, from the Senate to the Congress, which is why they're doing a dance. To the governors in each state, you want them all? That's the path. Remember I told you, through the cartels, get you the DOJ gets you anybody, everybody. That is the path, and that's why the dump. So let's remember now, this is where we're going. And again, the DOJ is tied to everything we're going to show you. Let's not forget, there are a bunch of lawyers who comes from law firms who is representing the same thieves and dark money. It's all related. Hit it. Now, we had the biggest crash in history on Bitcoin.
Well, wait, you wanted to move these up to the.
Okay, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. We just went over that.
Hit it, Mike.
Okay. I'm going to hit myself.
Exactly.
All right. So now let's take a look at this. We had AI, and I said to myself, and I have conversations with AI. You'll love the one we tag. I went from 0 to 90% with him. Now, in this one, I said to AI, in control of state of corruption, the narratives, Clifton, Jack Riley of the DEA had a press conference where he described the cartel operations involving local businessmen. I'm going to tell you, the AI didn't want to give it to me, and then he had a look, and he goes, damn, you're right. Even now and then, he says sorry. Where he described cartel in partnerships that enable trafficking, laundering, and distribution, making New Hampshire ground zero. It is so unique setup that lacks oversight in business through the LLCs. Now, what did I tell you I was finding? LLCs. What was Maxwell living in? An LLC. Epstein. Multiple trips to New Hampshire. That's right. And you're going to find out he's connected with Dean Kamen. And Dean Kamen is best buddies with Sununu. Dean Kamen is partners with Dick fucking Anagos. See? And Kamen had multiple trips to Epstein Island and Epstein's property in New Mexico. So he gives us, from public sources, Anagos' portfolio. which is not all of Van de Gogh's portfolio because he has them in LLCs and trusts and he's hide them. But sometimes you just can't hide all the shit. Well, wait a minute. He's got real estate, commercial, residential, land development. He developed over 2.2 million square feet. Manchester properties, Elm Street properties. Services include management. And you know who we did partners with? Cayman, who's named in the Epstein file, who suddenly resigned from his businesses. It's important now, boys and girls. This is Bitcoin, money laundering. This is the fraud in Medicaid and Medicare. Hit the next one. Well, wait a minute. What else is he in? Medical, healthcare, facility development? Oh, you mean like Elliott fucking Hospital? Like Granite State Recovery, Hope Treatment Centers? Oh, Hope for New Hampshire Recovery. It's right here. Remember the distribution? Remember the hit and Medicaid and Medicare? There it is. Housing, nonprofit. That means Medicaid and Medicare. You know how they build a property? HUD. The bastard's not paying a penny. Hey, where did they catch El Chapo's cousin? In Stellar Arms, was building by HUD and the Sinaloa cartel. Charitable gaming and casino operations? Man, how do you launder money if it isn't in casinos? They live in charitable conduit. You know why it's not charitable? It's not taxed. You know what the charitable is? Gaming. The asshole owns bingo. Social House, Riviera Casino, president of charitable gaming. Well, wait a minute. How do you get those licenses? That's right. Andy Cruz becomes the lottery president and issues the license, meaning the cartels are licensing themselves. So we've got the hiding of the assets, we've got the laundering of the money, and we've got the stealing of the health care in the hospitals. I mean, you can't paint this bastard any other way. Now, if you get Anagos, which I will, and you get it through Medicaid and Medicare, then you get to ask Aaron Day and O'Keefe, which I'll bring up again in a second. And the fact that DOJ has all the evidence. You see, this is a matter of dominoes. We talked about dominoes. Okay, hit it. Now, the guy who's the king of Bitcoin is telling you it's all going to tank. Damn right it's going to tank. What does he know that you don't know? What I know. You're not hearing that about. See, that's why when AI, when I turn around and say with the dark money and the cartels with Medicare, all of a sudden he goes, "That's it. Of course, that's it." He's telling you it's all going down, and it is. Okay, now let's go on this ride. The CIA, right? I want you to know that these bastards have been on me since 2013, including the FBI, including the Mossad. So let's put it together. Thoughts. I have a thought. Is the CIA trained to lie? Yes, they are. Particularly those in clandestine services, operations, like podcasting and influencers. Are they trained deception, cover stories, manipulation techniques, include lying as core elements? Yes. This isn't casual, pathological. It's operation deception, maintaining cover, false ID, backstop legend, fake employment. That's why they have boxers. That's why they have, like Michelle as a preacher or writing a book. Right. Derek Johnson with the military. I mean, they all come with a spiel.
Yeah.
Well, maintaining cover, false IDs. Wait a minute. Who told us about D. Boomasan? Oh, that was Script Keeper. And we only know his name because Script Keeper gave it out because he's part of the same CIA network. Ariel, does he give you his name?
Yeah,
No.
actually, Ariel did.
Really? You believe
Yeah,
that's his name? You
no,
don't
but
see his. How about this? Do you ever see his face?
well,
You
he,
ever,
he
you ever
showed.
hear his face?
No, no, we didn't hear a voice. That's the only thing that you can say.
Or the face that he gives him more cartoon?
We're supposed to believe. Yeah.
It
Well,
could
you know,
be Popeye the Sailor.
he showed an actual photo, but we don't believe. You
No.
know.
How about this? You ready? They lie. Train to lie. Look, fake employment, passports, why running undercover, false identities. You don't see them, you don't talk to them, and he sure the hell wouldn't debate me. All of them are false. How many of them didn't tell you? Who's Gene Decode? You see? You know what? Sometimes you just got to use your common sense, people. How about this? Not only do I want to know your name, I want to see a resume. I want to know if we're going to listen to you, don't you want to know who the hell they are? Recruiting, handling through education, persuasion, conducting operation, denied areas against hostile services where they reveal the true affiliation could be fatal. Right. All right. Next question. Do you believe the CIA would put agents in social media? Yes. I mean, you want to influence people, control people, tell them about cloning and drills. There it is. I believe the CIA would. Me too. And various forms already does place personnel, offices, contractor assets on social media platforms. I mean, wait a minute. What was Flynn? Didn't he train the CIA and MK Ultra? Right.
Yep.
I mean, he's breakdown basically public availability, declassified material history. Okay. So now we know that they're trained to lie pathologically. We can believe that they're in social media, like 98%. And and their business is persuading you. And if they can get you believe in shapeshifters, they can pretty much convince you into everything. And the craziest bastard in my research has been GD Code. We'll get to him in a minute. All right. You believe if you believe they would do, you believe some podcast is ours? Yes, I do. I believe it's possible. In some cases, likely. Some podcasters, or at least certain guests or experts, serve as CIA assets. Wow. And you believed them all.
Isn't that what Michelle said Alvira is?
Oh, you're spoiling it.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I already screwed you up a couple times. All right. So they serve as assets, channels, narrative shaping through hard proof or current undercover agents posing as full-time independent contractors in scare and mostly speculative. Oh, you mean like Trump still the commander in chief during the Biden years? That Trump opened the borders so they killed 7 or 8 million of you as a lesson. I'd say that's reshaping. This built directly on social media. If the CIA, or rather operate covertly online for influence ops abroad. Oh, you remember how many of these guys came from Australia, England? That's CIA. Oh, you know what? Would the CIA kill you? Yes, they would. Offline or influences, broad, long form, high trust audio, video content, like Ariel. You watched him like he was Jesus. Natural podcast, reach, engaged audience, build perceived authority, and allow subtle messages with overt propaganda. I don't know. Like Wayne Willett is John F. K. Jr. I mean, that's a
Have you,
little out there,
have you ever listened to Phil Godleski at all?
just a little.
Yeah. Now the newest thing he's saying, Epstein was a good guy. He's working with the White House, and he had to rape all these
I
children.
saw that one. Maybe you shared it. Maybe that's why
Yeah,
I
I
saw
did.
it.
I
I
did.
think you did. So in other words, right. Hey, listen, you know what I saw? The craziest shit, the better. This Dorian Russell you're gonna meet again, nobody spoke crazier shit than him for years.
And I believed Gene Decode knew what he was talking about because I believed a lot of them knew what they were talking about.
I know, I
They have
know.
the information of things that you're like, wow, how do they know? And it's
He was talking
oh,
like he knew God and that he
well,
was
yeah,
dealing with aliens.
yeah.
But see, that also the system of the CIA. They bracket you. They find the vulnerable and attack the vulnerable. And if you stop buying that shit, they'll dig deeper. You'll get it. I am a bullshit.
Detector.
You can't bullshit me. Listen, I had thousands of salesmen. And you know what? The biggest bullshitter in the world are fucking jockeys. I had them too. All right. Now, now you know the CIA would do such a thing. Now you know that they're in these podcasters. Let's take a journey. Hit it. Uh-oh. Who's that smiling piece of shit? Well, it says here the picture is taken for attended James O'Keefe, Bohemian Grove. Suggests he's a CIA asset. I'm suggesting he's the Mossad, but as the CIA, they're working for the DOJ. And what does he do? What do they use blackmail? Oh, secret videotapes, right? What does he do? I mean, my God, it's the nature of he was. Now, where did he go and attack? Where did he invade? State of corruption, my business. That smiling piece of shit was at my house, was in my office, and brought Aaron Day and Lylene Landy, all Mossad. You know what Day does now? He sells Bitcoin, money laundering. You know when he came into state of corruption? He turned around and stole the information I had about money laundering, the Pandora's box, gave me the cartel to turn around and leverage their position and get me smoked. I mean, we keep trying to get me smoked. Now, that's James O'Keefe. That's the DOJ. We're going to hear more about O'Keefe. Hit it. Uh-oh. We got Tuckeroni back again. You can't get rid of this asshole. You know why? Suddenly, that meeting in Arizona, very important. Remember, I told you this guy records everything? If you don't think he has that tape in Arizona, which is why he wound up days later in New Hampshire, because Sununu wanted to know what was said and what was on that recording. Sununu's nightmare, when he screams at night, it's when he sees and hears me. That's the laundering network. That's his connection now with Gene Kamen. That was what in there. I spoiled his chance of being VP. Now, what does our boy Tuckeroni says? Again, he's recording Liz Harris. You ready? In May of 2024, May. Where was I? I went to Arizona. I stayed with that asshole. I made to set up the meeting with Liz Harris and him. They were sending me there to out the Sinaloa cartel, who was already busted, by the way. So the only explanation could be I would be murdered. And who sent me there? Michelle Moore. Who turned around and tried to throw me under the bus was Michelle Moore's investigator. But let's go on. He records Harris in that exact window when I've been on the phone with him. Remember, I told you he records everything? Now, what does he say? He's got Liz Harris recording saying that Turning Point USA is controlled by The Mossad. Now, wait a minute. Here's O'Keefe with the Mossad. They sent them too. Now, wait a minute, too. Do you remember? If you watched those podcasts I did from Arizona after the rally and before the Arizona meeting, because the rally was on when I talked to Shelby Bush and Harris to make sure we made it the next day, which was a Saturday. I said, you know what? I hear Flynn and James O'Keefe more than I hear Trump. Now, I made that very public. Now they're saying, again, Matthew recording without her knowing again. I mean, these are some devious bastards, and that's a CIA piece of shit. And Harris tried to get me fucking smoked with them, all because of Flynn. But now they're saying it's the Mossad, which ties into why we're hearing O'Keefe, why we're hearing blackmail and extortion. It's who Flynn is working with, the CIA and the Mossad, who came to visit me at State of Corruption, the Mossad. Who visited me later? Let's get to it. All right, next. Oh, Jesus, I hate that face. Now, what do we find out him saying? With his recordings and everything. This is the guy that was running around with a Trump hat. Remember, I'm for Trump, I'm from Trump. And if you listen to the meeting, they were all for Trump. Except for Trump now is a vile creature. You see, that bastard's wearing makeup. I don't like it.
It's a filter, that TikTok. Yeah.
Now, Trump's vile. Uh-oh, we got the spin again. Trump's working with the Mossad. Oh, we got the Mossad again. Remember, he's saying Israel. Marjorie Taylor Greene, right. Listen, this isn't me supporting Trump. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm saying the sucker got entrapped. And I want everybody. This will open the Epstein file and the Pandora's box. This is exposing the CIA. This is exposing the mind games that they play with you. And think about it. This piece of shit had over 1 million followers on TikTok. What? We can't find 4 people in a bar. Listen to us. But trust me, they're all listening. The DOJ, Flynn. Who do you think sent everybody, including that piece of shit? Now, but you see the move. You see the turn. When Trump turned around and the answer was entrapment, he went after Flynn. He went after Jones. Who was getting Jones paid by? Hey, the same people was paying O'Keefe. Remember that Schulman we did, that podcast? Well, that's coming back into play too. Now, the guy who turned around and put a letter on my door about murdering my ass, multiple text messages about shooting me and torturing me, he blocked me. You don't want to talk, shithead? You know why he blocked me? Because I've got the truth. What did I say? Get the tape proof. Flynn was behind the broken convention and removed Trump. Now, that's entrapment, but it also worked for the DOJ. It was always about taking him out. So it also plays with the evidence that I had on December 18th and the 3 weeks before that. So in other words, we can't get him to talk. Okay, hit it. Now, one of my favorites, this is proof. Now, we talk about the Medicaid fraud. We're talking about that domino. We're talking about the cartel. We're talking about Aaron Day and the Mossad and O'Keefe corrupting the cases against the cartel. Because if you open that door, you open the door against their assets. You find out the assets are assets built about Medicaid fraud and Medicare, the federal stealing, and the laundering. So all of a sudden, who they sent and who they are is that domino. They can't get off of that, which is why they sent Flynn, which is why turn GILL or kill him. And listen, the attempts on my life was prior to that, having the audio of the inspector general, having the evidence of intercepted by Titka saved my ass. And thereafter, they were always trying to make a deal again. Hit it. but it's important to understand. Now we got the DOJ in play. This is the settlement releases. The important name on the bottom, second from the bottom, is Bill Shaheen. What did Bill Shaheen do? He built this laundering network. He was the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton. His law firm represented Maxwell. Maxwell was arrested under federal prosecutor Lullen, who was on the last page. You see, that's the LLC. Now we find out that Epstein's frequently visiting New Hampshire. I got to keep reminding you guys about a duck. Quacking, walking like a duck, it's a fucking duck. Okay, but now we set up the DOJ. All right? Now you know that O'Keefe, they sent O'Keefe, but it was the DOJ that sent them. Now they got the DOJ, and that evidence also went to Sessions and went to Barr. They own it. So why, to answer the question, why intercept GILL? Because of the evidence that I have that is the Pandora's box. Then if you're going to turn around and plan an insurrection that's divided this country, and the people involved in it was a lot of these same fucking podcasters, including Flynn, you would turn around and intercept me. Because what they're telling you is the path for us to win was to expose the Senate and the Congress. Isn't that what that Stacy Burke said? Well, they had some evidence that would expose them. Right. I'm trying to give it to Trump. Because I trust him. It's because I don't trust all of them. That's the Senate and the Congress that runs back to the DOJ. We're here again, folks. Hit it. Here's a little proof that they're working on it. That's the Flame Team. That's Jim Tuckero. Yes, we're working on it. We're working on a crap load of stuff. This is like the 18th and 19th, right after the insurrection plot from the Oval Office. I will update you, I swear. If you've seen my evidence, then you know I've been betrayed at every level. But I trust you and General Flynn. Then send me a message yesterday. I'll send them back. The DOJ and FBI wants me to settle. I told them to go fuck themselves. Now, you have my word. We're the only good guys left. Really? You know what I found out? There aren't any good guys. You're the good guys. This white hat, black hat bullshit. Listen, Republicans and Democrats, shut up. You're going to turn around and vote them out? I mean, how insane. Think about this. All these Democratic news anchors, influencers, and they're telling you how guilty Trump is. And we're going, yeah. Open Pandora's files. Yeah. They're the same assholes who were telling you that Biden was okay. All right? None of them. It's all about division. All right? No good guys. You're the good guys. You just happen to be sheep. Hit it. I didn't give you a bunch. I'll show you a little. This was on the 7th. Flynn isn't answering. Let me see if I get it. Flynn isn't responding to anyone. He's on the run. I don't know what else to do, Mike. We blew everything up. We're all scattered right now. Oh, you're running from the scene of the crime. I can tell you where I went after that. I went to the DOJ, FBI, and the State Police of Massachusetts. That's when they turned Audra Toop, who turned around and suddenly got released from the Department of Justice. Isn't that crazy? I risked my life and I put my children out there too. My children are still out there. I'm going to reach out to settle. I got to tell you, I had a weak moment. And just say, fuck it. The problem with me is I won't give up. Listen, you heard of dead ground, Sun Tzu? They put you in a position where if you lose, you're dead. The enemy doesn't take prisoners, and if you don't win, you're gone. Well, I go to another level. I have to assume I'm dead. And what I have to do in this lost situation, It played for skulls, their skulls. And you know what? It's the perfect situation to say what you need to have said, even though it means to maybe to get murdered. Every time I do one of these and go, ooh, this one's going to get me killed. And this qualifies. All I did, Mike, I didn't get paid. Oh, I'm not also not quitting. I would tell you to do the same by settling you're selling your soul. That's coming from Flynn Troop. That's Tuckero. Are you shitting me? Selling your soul? You don't have a soul to sell.
Mike, I just wanted to ask you. Okay, I think his name's James Tesoro,
Yeah,
if I remember. Okay,
I
now,
think you're right.
yeah, I don't want people to get confused with Tuckeroni. Or well, it's two
No,
Tuckeroni.
no.
But anyway,
We're
who is this guy? Who is James? With like, what is his role with
He
Flynn?
works for Defense Intelligence. He was a
That's what I thought.
captain. He's a helicopter pilot. He
Pilot.
worked directly with Flynn.
And
He
Seth
partners with
Ketchel.
Seth Ketchel,
Yeah.
right? And he
Okay.
was working with Carissa Ketchel.
Yeah.
And these text messages and emails were going back and forth with them all involved. In
Right.
fact, this guy Jim I talked to every day for over 3 weeks, and then a couple days where I was in Boston and he was shitting himself that I was turning the evidence over. Now, hit it. If you look, this is just one page of evidence that I gave up on December 18th to 20. You can see the dates in the corner. That was just what I was sending over to them that day. And there was more. I'm just giving you the fact that they took the Pandora's box. And you know what they used it for? Blackmail and leverage. Right? They didn't turn against my evidence. They didn't say I was wrong because they were using it, including Ariel. Did Ariel go after O'Keefe? Yes. Did he mention my name? Yes, he did. Did he go after Planet Fit? Yes, he did. Epoch Times, Gulfstream Park, are you getting this? That was my evidence. That's a couple days. They've got 3 more weeks of that evidence. Okay, hit it. Now, who knew? I didn't come on these podcasts and telling you I was the most important man, a whistleblower in the world, in history. I've got an ego, but I didn't
Our
tell
time.
you that. Right. I didn't tell you any of that. I didn't say, hey, make a movie on me. You ready? They did. Every single one of them. Every person that I turned over was saying all those things about me. Every mole was telling you that how important I was. Not me, them. My first question is to you is, I didn't know who the hell they were. How'd they know me? How did they know me to say those things about me? Let's just go over a couple things. And I got this from AI. Elvira suggesting the Mike Gill story, a potential film or drama around figures like Dave Snedeker and Nito Rodriguez. Remember, as they were kissing my ass, I was telling you who they were each and every time. All of them, every one of them. Pandora's box, ready? Regarding calling Gill one of the most important people of our time. That was a bunch of them. Patriot Underground, Juan, Nino, all of them. Attributed to Gill's own post, Gill referred to Elvira describing, along with others, 107 calling him the most important whistleblower in history. Wow. Gill uses these contracts later and accusations. Elvira turning critical Gill more circles. Meaning, I turned them all in. Elvira, who was sending me to Tennessee. See, now, once they didn't get me to turn, this was the turning process. Starve him. That's Michelle on the phone, where he is, what he's doing. Nobody then sending me, helping me, but I was the most important. And if you couldn't get him on board, then we got to kill his ass. That was Elvira then from the movie to Tennessee. Where was Michelle? Oh, that's right, Tennessee. And then we met Tuckeroni to Arizona. Interactions. Flynn Network told you Elvira was one of the most important of our time. All right, hit the next one. There was a bunch of them now, all telling you how important I was. Calling you one of the most important whistleblowers. Nino's Corner. Exposing the entire money laundering system to the deep state. He promoted your claims heavily in bombshell receipts, praying for your safety, letting audience decide. Oh, thank you for praying for me. Kerry Cassidy, Project Veritas, joint interview discussions, right? With Patriot Underground, cite your evidence and drama, claims you've been ridiculed, border media clips, Pandora ties, cartel ops, major evidence with supporters. If you listen to each one of them tape, they tell you I'm the most important whistleblower in history, both of them. And they even give you a time and a date on the podcast. We'll get back to that. Well, who else we got? Pete Santelli, directed interview. In May of 2023, he hosted the episode Whistleblower Mike Gill. This blows the lid off of Biden and the American cartels. It does. It focuses your evidence on cartels, corruption reaching the highest levels, including Biden times. Do you remember what they did with Biden times? One had me on the phone with Hunter Biden's baby mama and lawyer, and I was talking to them about the LLCs with Biden and Hunter in New Hampshire. He settled the next day. Money laundering, federal involvement, and time. It was presented in explosive support. Santelli described by some supporters that they vetted me at the highest levels, like Flynn and the DOJ. Connected with Flynn circles, later turned accusatory. You called him out as part of the Flynn DOJ, questioning his motive. Listen, I didn't know them, but I found out who they were. They knew about me through Flynn. They knew about that December 18, 2020. They knew about me because the DOJ hired them, including the CIA, which they are. That's who they are, trained liars. And again, to stop me, first turn me. That's always the first they do. So now they made a decision, especially when I'm out in Juan and Nino, saying that they said that Flynn was a Fed. If you remember that little scenario at the high. And I've always picked you in this. If I took the money from the DOJ, I keep my money. I turned around and didn't take the money from Flynn, and they offered to give me all my money back. They were going to have me as a major player on all of it, run PPN. And I have that text. I said no. No, even when I was starving.
If you took the money, you wouldn't be here right now with
You're damn straight. Yeah. Every single time. And we can go back to 2013 with the 50. That 50 was offered multiple times thereafter, which was why those podcasters were even depositions. So the decision made, we've got to kill Gill. And again, I've been there. So who do we got up to kill Gill that went through Michelle Moore? Elvira and Tuckeroni. Turns out these pinheads know each other. You know, they all did the sovereignty song. They all did the money laundering song, right? They all came through Michelle. They all came to why Elvira said, hey, we're going to do the movie. Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. He was going to smoke me. And he was in Tennessee. Who's in Tennessee? Oh, Michelle. And then we were going after with Tuckeroni to go after the Sinaloa cartel. Guess what? As soon as the brokered convention, you never heard the Sinaloa cartel again, either from Harris. None of them. It was the only reason to get me there was smoke. But again, Michelle Moore, who just might be the Antichrist. So every time you're buying godly granny, I mean, it's upsetting. Hit it. Let's talk about Michelle Moore and Dorian Russell, that sneaky ass piece of shit. Okay, now this is after I turned around and called out Michelle about protecting Ariel, right? Oh, I didn't want to go there. She didn't want to bag Elvire. That was my first argument with her and Scriptkeeper. And if you listen to Scriptkeeper, it only sound a lot like, oh, that's right, Dorian Russell. That's how we know Dorian Russell from Scriptkeeper. And Scriptkeeper turned around and gave Michelle with the multi-level marketing, making all that fucking money with Wave Watch. Why? Because I was up his ass and he was telling these guys, back the fuck off, or I'll tell him who you are. Now, you kind of question was, how did he know? He's in the same fucking network, folks. So, this is the conversation with D. Boomerson, or I like to call a piece of shit. I didn't talk to her about Ariel, but she knows a lot of stuff. Nick let her down huge, Fed. Wow. She trusted you with that stuff. Crash, did she say anything about Ariel to you Elvire being a Fed?
No, and I know this is going to be brought up. This is on that three-way of
I know.
mine. I was not awake. And
you know something? You were meant to send it to me.
Exactly.
The only reason they're playing that game now is to get me back in with them. What did I tell you? Ariel and Elvire was the problem for me.
I was going to point that out. She was using me.
Yes.
To get to you. But the thing is this is, like you said, you called out Ariel. You told me personally, privately, that you and her were fighting for a whole day on like that one day about Ariel.
A couple days. And she wanted me to alienate you and not talk to you again. And that's what she was going. And you know what? The flying nun was using fuck quite a bit.
Yeah. And then, so this came about, and the argument was when this, and I posted the date. This came about the night before she blocked you on Twitter. So
it was like the next day.
Well, what I'm saying is you had talked to her about Ariel and argued, and this is after that. And then she blocked you the next day. So this was given to you after, I mean, it was, no one saw that conversation.
Right. We already knew that, though, and we know Ariel knows. Wait a minute. How does he know that?
Right. We
didn't know. We already know because he was working with Michelle this whole time. They were sending this evidence through really Russell and had Crash listen to it because Crash would have been the one to give it to me. He's not a Fed. He's a CIA asset. Well, let's get this right. I just tell you they're all CIA, right? So now they're telling you Elvire CIA, the guy who wanted to make a movie. How did they know? Did you ever hear from Michelle? This is why. Did you ever hear they said, oh, we already knew that. If you already knew it, why didn't you tell us? That's Russell. Okay. Now, just a reminder from his own words, and what Michelle wouldn't put up was that Elvire was telling me that Flynn's business partner, Boone Cutler, located in Nevada to Tennessee. He's in Tennessee too. They're all in Tennessee. And you know what? A couple months ago, we had Flynn say that Boone Cutler died in his arms. Like, how gross. What's the bet that Boone Cutler is just is still alive and well, but a connection even here to the operation of the insurrection? Ketchel, who put me in touch with the outfit based in Tennessee. Oh, Seth Ketchel, who was buddies with Jim and was married to Carissa, which to utilize my services, providing intelligence on a contract basis. Oh, intelligence. Flynn retained our services to provide intelligence on certain people and entities. Oh, that's right. They hired him on certain people and entities. I guess I'm a certain person and entity. And that's exactly what he was doing. See, there's the game they play. They try to convince you it's not them by telling you who they are. I caught the crew I worked for manipulating my reports to reduce risk. They are former special op folks, And one of their team is who Seth Ketchel had an affair with and ended his marriage. Oh, so you know personal shit about them. Part of the team, intelligence team, CIA. I quit working for the team after they gave me the runaround and wouldn't pay me. So what he's telling me is, I don't work for them anymore. Sure you don't. Remember, they lie. This whole thing is one massive mess. Goes all the way to Sidney Powell, who Carissa worked for. Oh, you mean Sidney Powell on December 18th was communicating me with Carissa, both of them, along with Flynn? Those people? I mean, you were connected to them. You were there in Jane 6, remember? You were in Congress and smoking a doobie to turn around and build a platform, which is what you did. Cutler were in the middle of J6. None of them had got busted. Now, ain't that the truth?
Hey,
so
Mike,
all the people.
Can I just say something real quick before you go any further? That three-way text, I don't know if you knew this, but it was created. You know when it was created?
When?
Did I ever tell you? I don't know if I ever. It was
I
created.
know it happened right after the fight.
Yeah, it was right after you. Well, it was right after you went to Arizona.
Okay. Oh, ain't that interesting?
Yeah.
Think about this. Pepperoni gave us the Harris recording the same month I went to Arizona. D. Boomasan first communication was the month I went to Arizona. See, the Arizona was supposed to get smoked. That was also the investigator, Arizona, that same month. And we Crash found the story they were going to plant me with. Okay, so in other words, are you putting this together? They're all supporting me. I'm giving them to you. Heck, what was the word they used? Subversive. Mike Gill, subversive. Subversive because they were all CIA and they were all crooks and they were all lying. I mean, it became just me. Now, Michelle being the point person, the mailbox that was sending them, the people, including Dorian Russell, but all of them hit it. You want to hear this?
Are you going to set it up or are you?
Well, what we're having here is, right? And this was while I was in Arizona. What you're going to hear is him talking to Ultra, as in Ultra Stupid. Ultra, after this, the next day, asked me even to put it out there that he's having this podcast, where the podcast was 100% trashing me. And what D. Boomasan was giving him credentials and helping him build a platform to use to attack me. But they're not that bright. Either is Pinhead here. Okay, so in other words, understand what happened. Just what I told you he set him up with. He set him up. He went to attack me. And what did they attack? Arizona? Right. They attacked the way in. Okay, hit it.
So it's a 30-second clip here.
Okay.
All right. It's not playing.
Oh, please.
I don't know why. I have the sound on.
Is it turned up?
Give me 1 second here.
Please.
You know what? I think images actually deleted out of my phone too. Okay, wait. Let me see if this works. I went around.
This is important evidence and information.
All right. Let me try again.
I was hearing something.
Message group. Messages. And I know that because for a while there, I was also talking to Michelle Moore, who is also in that group. So I know that they all communicate together, and he never stops her from being out there saying that he's JFK Jr. And if you look at the address.
So did that go? You could hear that?
I did hear that, but I don't know if it was the clip we used. He was talking about working with Michelle Moore. And
well, what he says was, I know for a fact that Michelle Moore, they were all in that group text because I was speaking to her at that time.
Right.
And I don't know what
text, well, the text went on to say it was with Juan. It was with
he did say that.
Juan, you did hear that? I didn't hear it on my end.
Huh?
Oh, I didn't hear that on my end.
Okay.
But my point being is, again, he's working with Michelle. Again, he's hearing that information that Michelle was involved with that. Why is she on the call? And he knows it for a fact because he was working with Michelle and he was one of them. You see? And he's trying to give him a certain credence. But the point being is, that's the CIA. That's the network. It's one network. And he's on it. He doesn't know he's given her up. Remember, and when he said this was 8-6, he didn't tell me. He didn't tell you.
My question, Mike, was he's talking. You have to listen to the whole podcast at that point.
Yeah.
What he's talking about is back when this Sheriff Mack was like talking about getting people together to, I don't know, it was a prior time in history of what he's talking about. So what he's talking about didn't happen. It happened before Michelle had you on. So if he's saying he talked to Michelle at the time, that was before you. So that was my question.
That is the point.
Right.
The point is he was working, and we find out, we're going to further know this too, that while I came on with Michelle way back when we didn't know who he was, he knew that was happening and knows that connection. Didn't tell anybody. We just heard it then. And when was that? In August.
August, yeah, last year.
Right. Michelle always was part of this network. And you know what? She trusted him with that information. Again, trust, because they were working together. Okay, hit it. Oh, as long as we're working together, that's how sneaky she is. That's CIA. And another Mike Gill and Crash lie. Really? What lie? Remember, she said, well, he said this about me, this about me. He never posted it. You never told anybody what you knew and how you knew it about Elvire, and that Ariel knew. I provided proof to who? D today that proves I'm getting a loan for my portion of my home. D asked me for it, but I sent it. But I sent it anyway. Oh.
He didn't ask for it.
Right. You need to change your nasty memo. How's this, boys and girls? Who'd she give it to? Russell.
Well, that was 5 days after the blow up. She was still talking to them.
Right. He didn't give it to Russell. Listen, she's not reporting.
We were blocked.
She's not reporting her income. She told me she hadn't paid taxes in years. Ron there had to get a no income, no asset loan. She had cash to pay for the whole house. How about this? Why don't you show us the mortgage? You won't see it. And you know who's going to back her up? Oh, I don't know. Her partner in crime, Russell, the shithead. Are you going to tell us you saw the mortgage? And if you did, post it. I mean, that's how sneaky she is. That's why she erased all that stuff in Arizona. She set me up to be murdered. This is how sneaky she is. This is some dark shit. And even that. And what was I? And then when I said about Ariel, the fight, then she gives it to the information that says that Ariel knows that Elvire is a CIA asset. Who's she telling? D. Boomasan. Okay, hit it. I mean, now, let's take you on a ride again with all these podcasters kissing my ass. But I want you to pay attention to the timeline. Just like we just talked about the timeline in September, that Michelle's sending this shit over with Dorian Russell. Timeline, September. Do you know that right after that, I didn't talk to Dorian Russell for a year because he hung us out the fucking dry. I knew exactly who he was. So when I did a podcast, the first thing I said, and Crash was on that, I want everybody to know I don't trust them. Okay? I knew exactly what I was doing. Now, Terry Cassidy, maybe you remember this podcast. That's when I confronted Terry Cassidy about 107. Yes, he's JFK Jr. Wayne Willett is JFK Jr. I saw him. Hey, what about opening the borders? Commander in Chief. Yes, 7, 8 million. It'll teach us a lesson. Michelle Moore, after this, lost her shit. They didn't expect it to go this way. And if you play it, you're going to find out that Patriot Underground, the most important whistleblower in history. Play it. But I want you to check the date. Ready? December 30th, 2023. Okay? That's the date. Hit it. Because we're going to build on that date. Remember how Kress saying he talked to Michelle before that? They knew it before. Well, let's use the September now. Maybe you remember. So when this Russell says he's trying to save Trump, what did I tell everybody then? 1, Pandora's box, and I said he won't open it. 2, he'll make a deal, and if you don't think he's made a deal, are we going to raid another country? And 3, oh, that's right, an assassination. Oh, what happened? You laughed at the assassination. How about now? Real or unreal? The assassination came into play. All 3 fucking doors came into play. Now, when was that? Well, let's take a look. Next, I went on this show. CIA Mike Jaco. He even tells you he's CIA, you pinhead. Discusses Mike Gill, says Trump will step down with Nicholas. Help me with this one. Benjamin, thank you. I was on the show for this. And you know what I find out? And remember now, the date on that is December 18, 2023. Okay, so we got 12 days. We got the December window. Think about this window. It's like the days after I'm on Mike Jaco show, and Mike Jaco says, Trump's dead. How do you know that? His plane flew over my head. I didn't feel his spirit. Oh, that's interesting and full of shit. And the next day he has Juan on, or Wayne Willett, after me and says he hates Flynn. We don't know the connection there. And when I met this guy, Benjamin, he was insane. You know, with his English accent. I beat the shit out of him too. And you see the turn here? I can't be turned. And outing that asshole too. At the same time, Jaco. All right, hit it.
Now this goes back to.
This goes back now.
September.
D. Boomasan. Now remember this. Now, ready? We got December with Benjamin. We got December with Jaco, too, in that window. We got December with Underground and Kerry Cassidy. Shit's hitting the fan.
Do you want to hear more December, Mike, that you don't have there?
Which one?
Well, if you look at Twitter, all of the New Hampshire moles that you call moles started talking to Michelle and Dorian as of December 2023.
That was the move. That was the time.
Mockridge,
Thank you.
Colin, Mockridge, and all them.
Right. And what were they into? Oh, that's right, Bitcoin. But exactly, they moved. This is moved coordinatedly. You see? Now, why this one's important, it's the first thing, like Mike Gill and We the People versus the American Cartel. Well, thank you, shithead. Ready? September 25, 2023.
And Mike,
so 3 months before December now, right, folks? Me and him have not talked. We didn't communicate till May of 24. Go ahead, Crash.
I can't find this link anymore. It's been deleted.
And you know what? When I went to look for G&D code with D. Boomasan, It's a good thing I took a picture, but all those other videos they did were deleted too.
This just happened because I just copied it. I was just watching this. So you can see the green where I have there. I started watching and I thought, well, I'm going to take a picture. And then now a week later, I can't find the video.
We're on their tracks and they're covering them up as fast as we can go to them. Now, remember now, December, right? This guy put this out in September of 23, and you're going to see why that's an important distinction. Hit it. Because our boy was still working with gene decode. We're going to give you proof.
Yeah.
Look at this. Archive remixed by D. Boomasan. Cloning, centers, vrills, and drones, and body snatching. Don't you hate it when they snatch your body? Now, he's telling everybody he was working with gene decode for 3.5 years, which takes us back to what, 1920? He was selling you this happy horseshit the whole fucking time. Now, when this was done? Hit it. Well, the addition to D. Boomasan's Dorian Russell has engaged with gene decode, content beyond just the cloning centers, frills, drones, and body snatchers remix we discussed earlier. In fact, D. Boomasan primary interaction with gene decode, meaning he was hiding his face. And when I saw him for the first time, I get it. Material through remixing. Wait a minute now. Commentary. Isn't that the shit he does now? Reaction videos. Oh, that's what he does too. Watch fucking parties. That's where he collects all the pinheads and sells them the same bullshit here. And cryptic expos. Now, wait a minute now. He suddenly got healed. Wait a minute. Gene decodes, discussion clones, centers, and listed two of them. Widely circulated late in 23. Around November, December. He was saying this stuff about me. That was September of 23. Now he's still working with decode in December of 23. It's a magical month of December when everybody trying to get me smoked. Meaning he was working still with decode. He's doing the same happy horseshit now. Do you think all of a sudden he woke up at night and go, hey, I'm cured? I'm cured. There's no body snatching. There's no cloning. My ass. That's who he was. He was still working with Michelle, which is why he goes back with Michelle on that audio you just heard. It's why he goes back with Decode. They sent them in. Who was working with Gene Decode almost exclusively? That Vinyamin. We connect those assholes again. And you know something? And when did that come up? In December. The same month again. That's who we are. It's all CIA. Now, let's go back to Michelle. We gave you Tuckeroni. We gave you Russell. No, we gave you Elvire. We gave you Russell. Now, Tuckeroni, Russell. Now, let's give you Elvire. So after the 30th of December, what's that, 9 days later, Michelle has Elvire on. What? We're in a 2-week fucking window of all these cretins featuring Nick Elvire. This confirmed from multiple sources, including direct Rumble link. Oh, sure, Elvire. And she's selling the greatest show on earth. And Mike Gill. Oh, I hadn't met him yet. We hadn't been introduced. Then he comes back with the most important whistleblower in history. Michelle, the window. Tuckeroni went through the window. Dorian Russell went through the window. You still think she's godly granny? All right. Now, you've seen the play. When I say the CIA turned them, they all figured out that I'm not somebody that turns. Then you got to kill them. That was the process. Tuckeroni into Arizona, going to pop the Sinaloa cartel, Elvira to Tennessee, where Boone Cutler was, and Michelle Moore. We're going to do a movie, but don't tell anybody. You don't want to do that. All right, hit it. Okay. We're going to close with this a little. Is that the last one, Crash?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Because this is going to, and I listen, Crash, if you would you link that communication with AI that goes through Bitcoin and why that's tied to the money laundering and why it's taking a dump?
I'm not sure what you mean. I don't have any links to anything.
It's on your messages. I sent it over to you.
Oh,
it's like 4 pages. Just link it. We'll go over it. We'll go because I think we're going to have a very interesting week coming up. That's right. I'm forecasting that too. Now, just in close, Maxwell was arrested on July 2nd, 2020 at an excluded 156-acre property in Barrett, New Hampshire in an LLC that was owned by a lawyer in Boston that was a cabinet member for Obama. Got it? Represented by Bill Shaheen. Her hideout post Bean death. You know what I've seen and believe? She was the most wanted person around the world just then, particularly after Epstein was murdered. And listen, there's a chance she's going to get smoked too. FBI tracked her via the phone. Oh, you mean the FBI who worked for Andrew Lullen, who we gave the evidence to, who she was represented by Bill Shaheen's law firm thereafter. Credit cards, tracks across New Hampshire. Initial direction to Massachusetts. Epstein docs mentions New Hampshire repeatedly. And flights to Manchester, which is controlled by Anagos and the cartel. One of the many buses were in that airport. In fact, that's why Anagos owned the baggage handling. Wait a minute. Epstein docs mentions New Hampshire repeatedly. Flights into Manchester. Businessman Dean Kamen in emails. Wait a minute. Remember Segway? He's the inventor to that. He's best buddies with Sununu. Do you know they went both together to Dubai and wouldn't talk about it? Except for Sununu's ski resort was funded by 3 Saudi investment groups that were each tied to 9/11. In fact, front page of Breitbart, you can Google it. When I was running against the shithead, I made a point to ask him about that. You know what he never did? Denied a word. So that puts him there. Now, wait a minute. Kamen is partners with, and investment partners with, Dick Anagos. Kamen has been at Epstein Island multiple times and his facility in New Mexico and all of it. Do you know he just resigned a couple days ago? How's that? How many birds do we have to fly into the same nest? Huh? How do we tie them all together? But it also tells you what Bitcoin, this investigation into Medicare and Medicaid, listen, they own real estate together, all HUD. So when you start getting into the federal stealing, that's the domino. That domino goes to who owns the businesses? The cartels. Who supported and helped them? The politicians in the Senate and the Congress and the governor. Remember when Waltz resigned in 48 hours from Minnesota? Governor. Who's under investigation? Omar. Now, do you know there's an investigation now fully into this in New Hampshire and now Massachusetts? There's the domino. And they just happen to be border states in New Hampshire. Fancy that.
You mean Maine, right?
I did. What did I say?
You said New Hampshire.
All right.
Is there an investigation in New Hampshire or is it Maine? That you know?
It's Maine and Massachusetts.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm in the New Hampshire investigation.
Yeah.
They're using my evidence in Mass and Maine. So when that comes down, that gets you Anagos, that gets you the Medicaid, Medicare stealing, that gets you James O'Keefe and Aaron Day, which is why Aaron Day married the paralegal for spousal report and why James O'Keefe separated from Project Veritas. You're thinking ahead, folks. We get into the DOJ, you get the Pandora box. That is what's in the box. You see? And then we turn around and get Flynn. Trump's going after Flynn and Jones, who Jones tied to the Mossad too, with Spillman too. So we've got all those connections. What we know about Trump is he'll save himself. And saving himself, he's got to use the entrapment. It doesn't shut the door on the Pandora's box or the Epstein file. It's quite the opposite. It incriminates the DOJ, who's protecting it all. The DOJ gives you the CIA. Now think about it. All those people who knew who I was, those podcasters, how do you think they knew? They were in the CIA. Who'd they send? The CIA. That was Flynn. Who'd they send to Mossad? That's O'Keefe. And now Tuckeroni saying, and Liz Harris saying, hey, turning point, I think it's the Mossad.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're back around. And you know something? Of all these recordings that Tuckeroni does, he's not showing you the one of the most important one of that meeting. Why? Is it takes out Flynn, it takes out the DOJ, it exposes the CIA. It turns around and have Trump gets out of entrapment, which is why Trump might just pull the trigger. We need him to pull the trigger. That gets you the DOJ and the CIA. It opens up the Epstein files, and he's guilty in the Epstein files, then that too. We get them all. If you've got a better plan, I ain't heard it. And you know what? There isn't any. It took me 21 years to get to there. I became dangerous to all of them. The only reason this is alive, and well, is I always said no. I said no to the money. I said no, even losing my business that I worked 30 years to build.
And your family. I mean,
which
money in business, no big deal.
Which was my next point. My family that I haven't seen my children in years. I've got 3 grandchildren. I've never seen them or talked to any of them. But I understand the price. You're asking me save a country or my children and family. And as hard a decision that is. What did they say in the meeting? Maybe we should end it like this. Cursed by brilliant insight, condemned by moral conviction. That's exactly right. Your enemies know you the best, which is why my enemies told you what I really was, and why my enemies had to murder me then, and they tried before. The only thing that saved my life was moving ahead of them. That brokered convention, that tape, saved my life again. That turnaround and copying the IRS and TICA with the Inspector General, those sealed envelopes, giving them to Lullen, saved my life then. I'm sure we're back on the table. And remember, you know what triggered that Arizona meeting to murder me then? Because it was on the table already. It was Sununu, beneficiary of the convention, because he was going to be the VP under Haley. Right. Sununu's going, what? Which is why Tuckeroni went right after the meeting to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Because it would have opened the Pandora's box. They would have looked into Sununu and said, wait a minute here. And what did we just find out about Cayman? They're buddies. I just keep sticking to the truth. The truth comes into focus. You got to admit, Fresh, as we're putting this together, everything that I said before has been substantiated each and every time. What we called has happened. When have we been wrong? And listen, this is nobody in my ear. This isn't the Holy Spirit. Listen, I pray for strength and wisdom. You may have to one day ask, what the hell did you do to stop all this? Well, I prayed. I wish you did something about it. But everything has fallen into line. Everything you've seen 21 years ago and today is in line. Everything that happened. And when you say he saved this, he saved that, he saved that, because it's proof and evidence that got us here. That's O'Keefe, that's Day, and before that, that's the 50 million, which is why all these minions, who turned out to be connected, and Russell with Snedeker, with Day, all those minions in New Hampshire, with Michelle Moore, with Gene Deco. Gene Deco worked with every one of those freaks. It's one CIA organization. It's under Flynn. And it's worked with the Mossad, who all work for the DOJ. I'll leave you with this. You take out the DOJ, it's what protects them. You can't take out a piece. You've got to take out the protection network, which is why I always targeted the Department of Justice. That's the Epstein file. That's the Pandora's box. That's who's sending these creatures for insurrection. They're predators. And they sent them on all of us. It isn't voting them out. You take them out first. You turn around and expose them to the true nature. They are a protection network to everything that steals and kills you. They pay the most. That's who they are. All right, Crash. Another week. But I got to take another week, but always a step forwards, always a step closer. I want you to pay attention. I want you to put thinking caps on. Do the opposite of what this guy Russell's having you do, chasing the body snatchers, right? It's this simple. It's greed. It's predators taking advantage of your children. Have I not called out child trafficking with shipping and trucks? Facilities like the Sununu Youth Detention Center that it was stealing from Medicaid and Medicare, but they were raping your children. You understand the nature of these predators? If they're raping your children, if they're stealing from Medicaid and Medicare to make you broke and bankrupt as a country, that's the evil we're fighting. The thing is with this evil, they see you and you can't see them because good people can't imagine those suckers exist. I trained myself over the years to see that kind of evil. Okay. Yep. All right, Crash. I'll talk to you.
Bye-bye.